I'm Jammer. The Nintendo Direct, September 13th Nintendo Direct just concluded. It was a big presentation, and you know what? I first have to say, I was actually right on a lot of things. I was very safe with a lot of my predictions. I didn't go too balls to the walls, predicting Smash, predicting Animal Crossing, kept it safe, and I nearly nailed all my predictions. Almost, anyways. And I think that was kind of the expectation going into this anyways, that this was kind of be more of a recap direct, talking about what's coming up in these next months, rather than, you know, really pushing for next year, because that'll be more likely the winter direct, November-ish, December, give or take, around, you know, the one that preps us for the next year. We did get some talk about some 2018 titles. I won't be going over everything here. I definitely encourage you to watch the direct if you already haven't, but I'm assuming most of you already have. I'm just going to talk about what impressed me the most and what, I don't know, what was amazing. Let's start off with Mario Odyssey, even though that was the end of the trailer. It was kind of the bigger section, and it's kind of the most fresh in my mind. And it was kind of just more a general recap trailer, yet again, just kind of re-explaining, reintroducing how the game operates, you know, how the mechanics are going back to the roots of 3D Mario, blah, blah, blah. But we did see some new stuff. So we did see the actual map overworld, where it showed the globe itself and you taking the Odyssey ship and flying it to the next kingdom, and explained how that system works, where basically you go to a kingdom, you have to collect X amount of moons, and that's how many moons, and you spend those moons to then fuel the Odyssey, your ship, to then fly to the next kingdom. I'm assuming once you've flown to the next kingdom, you can obviously travel between them all whenever you want. It's not like it's like a resource that depletes if you go back to a different kingdom. I'm sure I think it's just kind of a way, make it more sense why you're unlocking or why you can't go there just yet, because your ship just can't fly that far. But I'm sure if, like, let's say you just unlocked the Sand Kingdom, you're totally allowed to go back to New Donk City or whatever, and you're not spending the moons that you could potentially be using to go to the next kingdom. And I like this, I like how they're actually organizing this here. I'm never the biggest fan of the overworld map layout for 3D Marios. Like, that's what really turned me off with Galaxy and Galaxy 2. But I think it actually kind of works out here. Just because the worlds and themselves are much more organic and they feel like they're real living and breathing places, and that was kind of the complaint I had with Galaxies, because of the additional map select and then the levels you played, it felt like you were playing a level rather than entering a world, you know? Anyway, so there's some new costumes, plethora of costumes. They talked about costumes from Mario's past. There's the Mario Maker costume, there's the Mario Paint outfit, which looks awesome. There's some other ones as well, in addition to some brand new ones for this game. And it's just for aesthetics, just for fun, which I think is so awesome. I'm gonna be so addicted to trying to get all this stuff. There's a swimsuit Mario where he's just like in his little Speedo. There's a Hawaiian shirt Mario with, I think this is the best one. He's got his little straw hat, right? And I don't know if this is just like an aesthetic of the world itself or the costume. I think it's the costume, but he gets a little sunburn on his nose. It's fantastic. I love it. And then, of course, we saw the new world, which is the Ice Kingdom and the Beach Kingdom. Cannot remember the name specifically off the top of my head. Seaside Kingdom, I believe the beach one is. And, oh man, the beach one got me such awesome sunshine vibes, mixed with a little bit of Galaxy, where, you know, there's those one levels where, like, you're, like, racing penguins, or you're, like, swimming through the water. Like, it was the perfect mix between those two, and of the two, I think that one's my favorite so far, of the new ones we saw. We didn't see much of the ice one anyways, but man, that beach level, I can't wait. They also showed off the new capture screenshot mode, which initially I thought, oh, it's just clicking a screenshot on your Switch. Big whoop, you know? I wasn't too impressed initially. But then actually, when they started changing the camera, it actually freezes the game as it stands, and then you can take a screenshot as you want, change filters and stuff like that, play around with that, and let me tell you what, that is going to be some prime A+ thumbnail material right there. I can tell you that for sure. Some of the funny things you can get with Mario's nose going all over the place, some of the filters they put on were absolutely hilarious, and I cannot wait to play around with that. And I guarantee, for nearly every video I'm going to be doing on Mario Odyssey, I'm going to be using that feature to make dang good clickbait thumbnails, yeah. And then also, there's one quick thing I did want to mention that I noticed. In the Sand Kingdom, there was actually a painting portrait that kind of looked like, you know, a Mario 64 portrait, where he went into that painting and it entered into that world. The painting was of New Donk City, so it looks like it was like a fast travel type deal where it like connects you between these two worlds really quickly. I don't know if this is something that's going to be in all worlds and you could just explore as you want through that way rather than going back to your map, or maybe this was a exclusive thing for a specific moon or a certain story sequence where you're jumping from world to world real quick to grab some giant moon or whatever. Not entirely sure, but that is definitely something interesting to take a look at later. There's some other stuff as well in the new stages that I might do a video on actually maybe a little later. There's like this one boss looking guy up in the palm tree. There was that new lady, rabbit with the golden chain chomp. She freaked me out, I have to say. And there's plenty of other stuff. I'll probably take a deeper look at it in a later video. Let's move on to the other game that, like, I was really excited about, was the new Kirby game. The only other game that they showed off on the Switch that's coming out this 2018, first party anyways. And yeah, it was kind of just showing off a little bit more of what we already seen, that we already kind of understood a little bit of it, and going into, you know, it's a 4-player co-op game. You can use the little heart thing to actually capture enemies, and then, you know, your local co-op players can play as those enemies, or you can just have them as CPUs falling behind you. But the coolest thing is they actually brought back from the 64 version where you can combine power-ups. Kirby fans have been asking for this for years, being able to do that, especially with the plethora, the giant amount of power-ups in the Kirby series now. So, because initially it was such a small roster of power-ups in 64, so there's only so many unique abilities, and because of the giant... I hate you. And because of how the combat itself, using the power-ups, has expanded since that game, everyone's been saying they need to go back to that idea and really bring it back and experiment with that idea, because there's definitely, like, an awesome gameplay mechanic there, and they're finally doing it here. Some of the ones that showed off were fantastic, like combining ice and the sword to have those giant ice swords where you slam on the ground and lifts up these giant ice pillars. My favorite was the wind one and the bomb one, where you hold a bomb in front of you and it turns into a hot air balloon, and then Kirby floats away. It was fantastic. I love it. I cannot wait to see this game, and I cannot wait to get this game and just experiment with all the crazy power-ups, because it's a crazy thing. So let's say it has 30-ish power-ups, and if it has 30, you gotta exponentially multiply it by how many it can combine with. Even if it has like 10, you can multiply that by 10, that's nearly 100 plus power. No, that's not right. 10 times 10 is 100, right? I don't know. It's a lot of power-ups, okay? What am I talking about? I almost forgot the best part of the direct. SWOL DEDEDE with his giant muscle. Oh my gosh, that was the best thing ever. Smash Modders, you guys have to put that in Smash Brothers. SWOL DEDEDE needs to be a thing. Maybe even reskin him onto Donkey Kong so that you can use those big arms for, like, attacks and stuff like that. That'd be so hilarious. They always get me every time. Whenever they show off a King DEDEDE battle, I always start just cracking up. And then they show off Wispy Woods, classic boss battle, but they caught him on fire this time! Like, usually just mashing him with a hammer, or maybe knocking his apples back into him. You know, it's just kind of hurting him, and then he cries, and you're, whatever, goodbye Wispy Woods, see you next game. This time you catch him on fire. He might not come back this time. He's gonna burn to a crisp. Okay, let's move on to Xenoblade 2, another game they really focused on in this direct. Actually, at the beginning, instead of this stuff, was more towards the end. And they really did their best job to kind of, in the time they had, to explain the combat system. And I'm really intrigued of how it's going to be working, because it looks like it's kind of like the Xenoblade X thing, where you have those different classes, and each class has different abilities, different... well, they were arts, but there's no arts in this game, so it basically operates differently. And I like how you can select 3 of them prior to your battle, and you can switch between them mid-battle, and you use that strategy to match what your teammates are using, and to operate with team attacks. I think it's really interesting. I'm looking forward to it. The one thing I wasn't the biggest fan of a little bit was a handful of the weapons were those generic-looking... I don't even know, goddess or god and goddess looking things, where it's just kind of like the black skin and like just the armor, you know, there weren't actually a physical character. I don't know, it's a lot of character development at that point, because if every weapon's a character, there's going to be a lot of weapons and a lot of characters. So it makes sense that there are going to be some that are kind of more generic. I'm much more a fan of the ones that are actually real characters, like the one healing one with the giant hammer. He, I don't know, he was awesome. And then how about the evil Nopon gang leader guy, who's like trying to he's like the mobster dude. Oh, that was so fantastic. And how about Puff the Magic Dragon, or what do they call him? Papa? Grandpa? I don't know. You ride on top of a Titan, and live there, supposedly. But he's like a baby Titan. He's got the little, horn unicorn thing going on. I thought he was pretty cool as well. And he had a weird voice. Didn't really match. I don't know, but I'm sure it's something you'd get used to anyways. And then they, of course, announced the special edition, and actually a special edition controller. Pro Controller, which is actually pretty cool. If I'm gonna get a second one, I might as well get that one, right? I'm kind of content with the controller selection I do have for my Switch currently. I don't feel the necessity to get another Pro Controller just yet, but I might just get it, because if I ever feel the need to get another one later down the road, might as well try to get another special edition one, you know? Okay, I think I'm done there. Fire Emblem Warriors, quickly want to talk about that before we get into 3DS stuff. I guess this is a good segue because it's both on 3DS. They show off a trailer for Lyn, which I was so amped for. I know a lot of people have been complaining about this game, that they have no representation outside of Fates and Awakening, and then exception of Shadow Dragon being Marth. And I'm surprised that Lyn was the one they showed off. I was really expecting probably Tiki And I believe there was Sakura was the last sibling in Fates they haven't shown off just yet. So I was expecting kind of those two to be revealed. Instead, they showed off Lyn, which is fantastic because she is a fan favorite, probably the #1 favorite female character in all of Fire Emblem. And I love her too. She's awesome. Lyn is fantastic. Lyn for Smash Bros, man. So it's cool to see her. I'm glad she's there. And of course, they just reiterated that the release date is coming up the week before Mario Odyssey. So pretty soon, actually. A little under a month, give or take. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this game's going, like what the reaction's going to be. I mean, hopefully Lyn is just the start of these old Fire Emblem characters coming into this game. I'm really kind of expecting, if we're going to see any more, maybe they'll throw in like an Ike or something like that. Or maybe Roy, because, you know, those are popular favorites that are outside of the previously mentioned games. But besides that, I really don't have any really faith for any other characters in those later games, unless they bring DLC, which they I'm very confident they will. Give it the Hyrule Warriors treatment. Really pack it with tons of content, new maps, all the old titles, all the old fan favorite characters. I'm sure they'll do something like that later down the road. But it's really just trying to sell people on the initial purchase of this game, which I hope people do. But the thing is, I mean, Mario Odyssey comes out a week, so I mean, people are going to be like, should I go Mario Odyssey or Fire Emblem Warriors? And I think, at least for me, it would be Mario Odyssey. But that's just me. I'll probably be getting both, though, so. Actually, two more things I do want to talk about quickly. Snipperclips DLC/2 sequel. Definitely actually looking forward to that. I was really confused at first what it was. It kind of is presenting itself as a sequel, so you can buy it standalone. However, if you do have the original version, you can actually upgrade, quote unquote, or buy the new pack as DLC, supposedly probably for cheaper. So maybe like the new game's $20 and you can get it for maybe 10 with the original version or something like that. It's gonna be fun to go back to it. I had a lot of fun when the game first came out, but I really haven't touched it since. And I mean, I'd be happy to throw out a few extra bucks just to play some more levels, because it's definitely a fun concept of a game, you know? It's so much fun playing multiplayer. Another surprise, to me anyways, was Bethesda announcing some new games, being Doom and Wolfenstein 2 coming to the Switch. Both actually still looking pretty good, like not a huge graphical downgrade or anything like that. And I think this is an awesome get. I'm so surprised and proud, really, of how Bethesda is treating the Switch right now. Because, I mean, before their announcement of Skyrim, there's never been any Bethesda and Nintendo crossover ever. They've never worked together, you know? And it's unbelievable that not only did they, you know, the reveal trailer of the Switch had Skyrim, now Skyrim's coming out this holiday, I think on November 11th, if I'm not mistaken. Then, of course, now they're announcing two brand new games, or not brand new, but two more ports coming to the Switch, you know, and they're two awesome games. I know Doom, people raved about Doom when that game first came out. And yeah, so Wolfenstein's coming out this fall, and having the delayed release, for the Switch, which I think is awesome. I am totally fine with. I know a lot of people probably already play it by that point, but the fact that you have it on the go, super cool, right? And finally, the fake, like, what's it called? Virtual console thing going on. Basically, the Mario Bros. Arcade Mario Bros. Collection is going to be coming out, I can't even remember the release date now, which is essentially like a compilation of all the arcade versions of a lot of Mario Bros. Games. So there's the Punch-Out arcade version, there's Mario Bros. Versus, there's Balloon Fight Versus. There are virtual console releases and, you know, cartridge releases of these games for home use, but not these specific arcade versions, because there are some differences. There's, you know, different type of multiplayer options, levels, and stuff like that. Stuff that's never been available at home. So it's very interesting that's how they're going about this. It's so weird, though, that it's kind of virtual console, but at the same time it's not, because technically speaking, these are games that have never come to a home console previously. I could be mistaken. But the point being is this is technically not virtual console, but at the same time is. It's so funny how they keep dodging around this bullet, and I did expect that they weren't going to be talking about it anyways. My full impression of virtual consoles, they're not going to be really displaying that or rolling that out until this coming spring anyways. Wait, hold on. Okay, so there's one quick thing I did forget to talk about, I quickly wanted to mention, was the 100 best Mario Party minigames coming to 3DS, which is so awesome. This is something people have been wanting for so long. Collect all the greatest and best Mario Party minigames, throw them on one fantastic package, and be able to play them all together on awesome maps. And finally, it looks like they're going in the right direction with the Mario Party series until they say it's on 3DS. Like, I don't know. I mean, 3DS Mario Party can work sometimes. I had a lot of fun with Mario Party DS, don't get me wrong. But it's not the right experience. Playing a home console version of Mario Kart Mario Party is the definitive experience, because you have that local multiplayer, you have people all around you playing with the controllers together, you know, with parties and whatnot. And that's not
it's often as you're going to find that many people with 3DSs sitting around and being able to play it together. Yes, it does have an availability of download play, but it still requires other people to have 3DSs, which again, I just feel like they're missing the point here. I hope the reasoning behind putting it on the 3DS isn't just because the user base is bigger there, unlike the Switch. And it'd be such a shame. This would be a great title to be on the Switch. And perhaps maybe they're just waiting, before they put Mario Party on the Switch, they want to have a new Mario Party 11 or something brand new to introduce to the console instead of bringing back a collection, minigame collection. So I guess, at least from what we can tell, you're not actually playing the board games anyways. It is just the minigame collections, which it's so close to being exactly what we wanted, but not quite just there.
But anyways, that's all my thoughts on what they did announce. Some quick things, I guess, to talk about what they didn't. There was no new big announcement for a new Nintendo Switch or 3DS game. I am mistaken. There are some third-party stuff. I'm talking about first-party anyways, because there was that, Square game made by the makers of Bravely Default and stuff like that. The 2D HD 2D or something like that looks beautiful, by the way. Besides those third-party announcements, there was no big first-party announcement. There was no Smash like people were thinking, which I thought you guys were crazy for thinking that. There was no Animal Crossing like people were saying either, which I was like, don't even get my hopes up. It's not coming yet. Don't even. Other than that, yeah, I think it was a pretty good solid direct. It was really what I kept my expectations rather low, because I kind of thought it was going to be more of a recap direct more than anything. Just kind of more further explaining what's going to be going on in these upcoming games this year. No November title though, so it looks like for as far as Switch, it's really just going to be relying on a lot of third-party support, like Sonic Forces coming out then, Skyrim, the sports games, Rocket League, I believe. So there is a lot of Switch content coming up this November, just nothing first-party anyways, which I think is fine. I think it's totally fine to take a break for... They already have Mario Odyssey and Fire Emblem Warriors to be holiday titles. There's plenty of time to put those as those holiday titles. I'm totally okay with that. And then they stuck to that Xenoblade 2 release date, December 1st, which I was actually kind of thinking it was going to be the first week of December. I'm assuming December 1st is a Friday. I wasn't sure entirely. I was thinking for some reason December 5th was the Friday this year, but I could be mistaken. I haven't really looked at a calendar ever. So yeah, I'm excited for all I saw. I'm still kind of yearning to see some new stuff. I really am. But I am super content for these new games up and coming. What do you guys think? Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys were impressions of this direct. What are your hype levels now for all their announcements and all the new stuff coming? Surprises, there was no Zelda DLC showing off. There was just the talk about the amiibos and what they might do, but we'll see that in a later date. And stuff like that. So definitely let me know in the comments. Give this video a big awesome like if you haven't, definitely subscribe for tons more on Nintendo Switch and other fun content like that. I do plan on probably doing another video, taking a closer look at some of the Mario Odyssey stuff. There was a lot of stuff actually packed into that little segment, especially in the New Kingdom. So I think I want to take a close look at that, give my better impressions on what they're going to be showing off there. And stay tuned for more coverage on that game when that comes out. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I can't freaking wait. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!